The following program is a real estate and mortgage show and does not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of Reality Radio 101, its advertisers and sponsors, or its listening audience. Listener discretion is advised. Good morning and welcome to Your Home, Your Money with your hosts, Randy, Jackie, and Anthony, right here on Reality Radio 101. To contact us right now, send us an email. Our email address is onair@yourteam.pro. And now, right to your hosts of Your Home, Your Money, Randy, Jackie, and Anthony.
Hello, y'all.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a little bit, feels like fall out there. Last night for sure, when I went out with the dogs, I'm like, ooh, okay, it's cold. And the kids were complaining for the first time that the house is cold.
Listen, I do not care about anyone who wants to complain about the cold. I think most of you guys know I teach as well, and the high school I'm in is probably 60 years old, and there is no AC. So pretty much I was just...
Hold on, what did you do?
Hope for the day to be finished. I can go home and take a shower.
Like, did you have it, do they, look at me, I'm stuttering because I can't believe it. Because that would make the students impatient. Like, if I was sweating, that bothers me. I don't like that feeling.
Listen, I want the kids to do well, but in that situation, I was worried about me because the heat was it was horrible.
But do they have fans at least for the teachers in, or not really? Just open the windows.
Most of the classrooms had a fan, but I don't know, for any of you guys in this area, those last 2 days were again, we're Canadian here, so I think it was 35-ish degrees Celsius.
When we got back, it was hotter than in Barbados when we arrived home, which was weird.
And the crazy thing is, the last week before school actually started, it was nice, it was cool. And then went back and they're like, okay, flip that switch, and it was those first 2 days were, they were pretty torturous. But
I think they're over though. I think fall is hitting. The last two nights has been a little bit of a chill. We went for a walk last night with the dogs just before dark, and we had put a sweater on. I was a little hot by the time I got home, but because the two little dogs were they were just pushing me along like a train. They were pulling, tugging.
When you first came back, was it crazy with the dogs, in terms of seeing you again?
Oh yeah, yeah. It was because we hadn't seen them in 7 weeks, so it was pretty nuts. And then at that point, when we got home, the kids, Skyla wasn't home because we unfortunately had a dear friend very, very close to us pass away last week, and both my kids were in Vancouver to pay their respects before it happened, and we couldn't. We were in Barbados. But so when we got back, it was only Truly home, because she couldn't stay too long because she's too busy with her work.
No, she got home after we got home.
Yeah, that night though. We got in the same night. She just came in on the red eye, so she came in the morning. So her significant other slept at our house and then picked her up. Thank goodness, at 6 a.m. And Skyla came back later, so we will be off to Vancouver this week for a couple of days for the funeral and everything, which is extremely sad. But yeah, I guess that's enough about that. Sorry to bring that my life in there, but yeah, to bring it down even more.
Well, it is our lives. So, your home, your money, and our lives. So,
I am honestly, very honestly considering maybe next year to walk around with, I don't know, a GoPro or something on my head and film our lives, the two of us. Because our kids are getting... Well, our oldest daughter is getting ready to move out. She's looking right now for a home. And the younger one is going to go with her, but she's not going to stay there all the time. Obviously, she's looking for a home close to us, right? And so the younger one helps with her work. She edits for her, so she'll be still home, but not a lot. She'll just be kind of coming back and forth. So it's going to be interesting because, oh my goodness, hold on. We have never lived alone since we've been together. We met in 1996, and we got serious maybe the end of, or close to 98, when we had your grandmother living with us even before we bought our house. And then my mom moved from Newfoundland, and she lived with us. And then we had kids, and we never vacationed or did anything without our kids until maybe 3-4 years ago. We actually started going out to dinner alone, and if they found out we did, they'd be like, "You went out and ate without us?"
Not all the time, only if they were busy.
Yeah, but still, like, it was, if we happened to be hungry and we're like, okay, you know what, let's just grab food and it was like, they looked at us like we did something horrible. Because we did everything together with them, right?
It would be late night.
Yeah.
But
we did everything with them.
And it only happened a couple of times.
Yeah, and even this time, when we went away, this was the longest time we've ever went away, and they did come down for a week in between when we were there, but they were like, I talked to them 50 times a day at least, somehow, either texting, FaceTime. They FaceTime me for everything, right? Which I love it. I don't want that to stop ever. But they're like, "Oh, we miss you. You can't go that long anymore. This is ridiculous."
How is our dad? We love him so much. Is he able to handle
And I'd
you?
be like, "Oh, here's your dad. Say hi." No, there was a few times they truly called for you, because when she's got a business thing, she don't come to me. She goes to her father. I'm the one that gets all her personal stuff.
All the drama stuff.
Yeah, if it's financial, it's him, because I'll put it out there, I'm not good with money. I'm like a monkey in a very shiny store. When I see something, I grab it, so yeah.
And then the house gets full of junk. It's just how it works. And then we're miserable because we're living in junk.
No,
We
that's
gotta have
not
those
why
red
we're
bottles.
miserable.
But she feels good when she's buying it, and then
but
she
I
goes
haven't
and
done
puts it
that
on
in
the
a long
shelf.
time, though.
I know, because
I haven't done it in a
we have
very,
no money.
very long
Justin
time.
Trudeau took all of our money now, so we have none. So it's the only reason you don't do that. Along with every other man, I think the divorce rate is going to go through the roof.
Well, I
Because
honestly...
I think women might stick around, some of them, because they got the money.
No, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Let's
It's
talk
not
about
gold.
divorce.
It's the difference between gold diggers and like copper diggers.
Well, I definitely wasn't a gold digger when I met
The
you.
thing is that you're not a gold digger because I don't got gold.
And you
You're
didn't
a
when I
copper
met you
digger.
either.
You're a copper digger, not a silver. Silver's worth more money. You didn't go that route. And so all the copper
But-
diggers, the silver diggers, and the gold diggers are all going to be getting divorced.
I think what happens is not that, okay? Women go through menopause, and I'm telling you, I guarantee you, if you check some of the, suicides or whatever, heart attacks in men, when their women are like around
Yeah.
50,
Yeah, true.
it may have been, might have been a little pusher to get them over that line, because I'm telling you, menopause is horrible. And I see people, and I hear people, we deal with it in real estate. They've been together like 30 years, and now they're divorcing. And
Well-
they're like 60. I'm like, what the hell?
Well, what
Because
happens,
we
I
do
can tell you
go
what
nuts.
happens. It makes sense. Scientifically, they're going to prove this in time.
I'm
What
admitting
happens-
it.
Yeah, no, I
we
hear you.
actually go nuts because our body is in havoc.
It's a combination of you guys going through menopause and the men then retiring. So they retire, and then now we with you 12 hours during 18
We're
hours
with
during
you.
the day,
No, we're with you.
and then the menopause
And then
and
they
the
decide we're
retirement.
going to do this, what is this, growing, a garden and all this when they, so.
Hydroponics.
Yeah, and that was a disaster. And it was so triggering me because Mr. Cheapy here had to build the thing himself instead of buying the nice one.
The nice one's expensive. I made it out of garbage bags and what's HVAC tubing. and it worked just as well.
But you gotta add in though that you wouldn't eat the thing that grew from it though too.
No.
Well, you know, it was my first time.
I brought it in, and
I don't
I wasn't
typically get
eating
my
it.
own food anyway, so. It's
But
like,
it looked, I have to admit, the lettuce, the one
looked
lettuce
good.
that he grew was like the purpley, the leaf, and it did look good.
It was fine.
And it was no bugs, nothing
I
on
gave
like,
it to her. She just.
I don't understand why. Okay, it's like you grew it. Like unless you like put some kind of like chemicals in there, why would you at least try it?
No, they were natural. But yeah, you
Because
know
my
what?
husband doesn't know how to get food for himself. He starves.
The problem is not that I don't know how to get food for myself. It's just that I never get to that stage. I'm never hungry. Like, never that hungry.
Do you know, I was out the entire day yesterday. I had a lot of personal stuff I was doing with family and that sort of thing. And when I got home and I fiddled around a bit before I even decided to say hi to this guy, I was downstairs and I was fiddling, and then I go upstairs, and of course he's got his computer going, he's working, and he's like, he's like, was there any leftovers or anything? And I'm like, you didn't eat? Like, I fed you before I left the house, and I was gone all day, and I just looked at him like, you didn't eat? And he's like, no, I wasn't hungry, but yet I walk in the door and you're asking for food, so you were hungry.
It's our way of bonding. It's like a trigger.
It's your way of bonding, because I don't like it, because he does it every night I get into bed. I'm going to tell you, it used to be, I'm going to say at least 15 years, this man had a ritual that every time he's always in bed before me, and when I would walk in the bedroom door, he'd throw his dirty socks at me. He'd ball them up in a ball, and he'd either hit me in the head, face, whatever. He would throw them. And then some nights,
She would
if
never
he fell
remember.
asleep,
That was the funny part.
no,
Shoot.
but some nights if he fell asleep, it's funny, I could lift up his pillow and they were sitting there right here waiting to throw them at me. So that was the ritual. Then he goes on to now, when I'm all ready for bed, he's in bed, he'll give me his bloody thermos, because we take a lot of water to bed, and he'll put it on my side of the bed, and I'm like, you're asking me to do this now when I'm like getting ready to get into bed? This is what he does, and that's what annoys me.
Maybe the trick.
But
is,
I do it.
Maybe you should be in bed first then.
Doesn't matter.
That happens.
The anxiety, just for me, I had to do it. Like it wouldn't
Or
matter.
maybe he's trying to actually help you with your anxiety by seeing how long.
By
until
making
you,
it worse.
No, making you toughen you up and see how long it takes for you to actually.
Are you
fix it.
serious right now?
I'm just saying, hey, maybe he's playing the long game. Anywho,
That's a good point.
we have going back a bit from when we were first started, we have an email from Beth. Beth says, "Hey Jackie, wearing that GoPro, will it be X-rated content?"
Absolutely not. No.
There's not much X.
I'm not going on. I'm not going on that. What is it? Fans only or only fan? No, I'm not doing that. I'm going to keep selling real estate.
I think that means time will tell, Beth. We'll see.
Well, Beth, I can tell you, if it wasn't for our 2 children, she'd still be a virgin.
Oh, jeez. Okay, that's a lie, because I had 2 miscarriages in between them. So now we know he's a liar.
And the 2 miscarriages.
Okay, from Edward. Edward says, "Hello, real estate folks. Welcome back to Canada. Sorry to hear about your friend that passed away. And then, is the market getting better for buyers? Thank you."
Thank you, Edward.
Looks like that's our transition to actually getting into.
Yeah, hey.
Well, Edward, most of the show is going to be to that answer. But in short, yeah, the market is definitely getting better for buyers with respects to the average price. Unfortunately, with respects to the actual mortgage payments, no, it's not getting better, Edward. So you got this little juxtaposition there.
That word of the day. The word of the day. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's sort of moving in that direction. Edward, we're going to be able to tell you better this fall. This fall starts. It just started. So we're going to see if the real estate market actually follows the normal business cycle, or if it continues on the downward trend that we've seen this summer. One thing to keep in mind, Edward, is that during the summer, it is typical for the market to dip. So the fact that the market's dipping isn't surprising. What is surprising is the pace at which it's dipping. That part's surprising. So is it dipping ferociously and faster than ever before because it's going to continue to slide downward? Or was it just a ferocious dip and then we're going to get an incline to level out for the year? Nobody really knows because there's a lot of government intervention in it, and we really don't know what the tailwinds are going to leave behind. So there you go.
There you go. So Jack, you want to go ahead or should I go
Okay,
ahead?
yeah, I can start. So, sometimes I kind of give you the junky stuff that's not real estate, but hey.
So just out of curiosity, why are you bringing yourself down before you say something?
Well,
I just
because
wanna-
most people want to know the stats and Toronto, and sometimes I go
No,
a little
they-
outside with my articles and that, and I'm a little more, I guess my articles are a little more toned down from the numbers game, let's just
I
say.
think a lot
okay?
of people appreciate that.
Oh,
They
why-
don't just want a geek punching out numbers like myself.
Oh,
They
thank
They want
you.
some interest.
Thank you so much.
And so that's why we have you. We need to have a girl's point of view here.
Oh, that's why he asked me. There you go.
There it is.
Woo! Finally found out after 24 years of marriage, that's why he's got me. That and to blame stuff on. That's the
Yep,
other reason.
I'll agree.
Yeah. So, anyways, on September the 6th, the national trending staff at the who does some statistics and finds out some numbers, Canada has ranked the second best country in the world to live in.
Woohoo!
Yeah, number 2, and they came in behind, and that was from 87 countries, and number 1 was Switzerland. And this is the second year in a row for Switzerland. And from what I hear of Switzerland, it's a beautiful country. How they run their schools are amazing, all that. So I can see why. But this was based off power. So the power that the country has, cultural influences, heritage, social purposes, equality, different things like that. It was based on. Quality of life and racial equity. So overall, which I thought was really interesting, I'll go through this really quickly. The categories were adventure, agility, cultural influence, entrepreneurship, heritage, movers, open for business, power, equality of life, social purpose. I guarantee you can't guess what Canada scored. 99.3. On all of those things. So Switzerland must have been almost perfect then, pretty much almost 100% for them to come ahead of Canada. Now, Canada is an amazing place to live, but I think the thing is that when you've lived in Canada your whole life and you see all these different changes with the government and what the government's doing, I think we get a little sour and we don't feel like, oh, Canada is that great of a place sometimes to live in, but it is pretty good, I have to say. I'm happy to be Canadian. What do you guys think? What do you think of that rating?
So I think, just to put the numbers into context, the 99.3, I don't think that means people who took the survey said we're 99.3 on everything. I think it's on
Total.
Average.
Yeah, out of between all the different countries,
Yeah.
where they ranked in between in the list. So again, nothing bad against Canada. I love Canada as well.
Let me see.
But yeah, there's obviously we have our issues. Everyone has their issues. But again,
But-
I only know here, and I wouldn't really want to move anywhere else. So
But out of 87 countries to be number 2, I think that's something to be proud of.
yeah, for sure.
I do.
What's really interesting is what does 99.3 mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't say 99.3%. So,
No.
and if it, so 99.3 could
It's
be
out
a
of the
number
collective.
out of a
Oh,
million.
and look,
No,
I just
no.
noticed this
Number
fine print.
3
We were
out
number
of
3
eight.
last year, so we went up. U.S.
It's
in the
basically
top
I think it's
5.
out of all the countries for the people surveyed. And if you look
Yes.
if you look at the different scoring, none of them,
Yeah.
like for example, adventure, we had a 54.5.
Yeah,
right?
20.
And we ranked
Ranked
20th in
20,
that,
yeah.
right? So the 99.3 again, I'm not sure exactly how they quantify
count,
that.
yeah,
but-
the number is quite deceiving, but it does look like it's an overall out of 100 because
Yeah,
it's
no,
a-
it is out of 100, but it's just how they score
it's
that.
how
Yeah,
they score that is
exactly.
interesting.
Yeah,
I
because
guess
that's a very high score.
I think what it might be, because it's kind of a little misleading, because there are no exceptional numbers here. Social purpose is the highest. Oh no, agility. What the heck? A country
yeah.
being
I
agility?
don't know
What
what
the
that
heck
means.
does that mean? It's 94.1, and that's their highest score. That we're number 2 there. So if you were to take the average of all these scores, we're probably around 60%. So how they got 99.3 is interesting. I would think that what they did is they took all the countries, and if
Yeah.
you're the best, you're 100.
Yeah,
And if you're the second best, you're 99.3. And if you're, that's probably what I'm thinking there.
Why would you pick 99.3 then if
They,
you're throwing
they have to
numbers
throw
out?
a number, and so that number,
It's a weird number.
yeah, it is interesting. So they had to choose a way to do it. That's what I'm thinking there. But these things don't make sense to me. Like agility, what the heck does that mean for a country? I understand adventure, and Canada is very advencherous.
Yeah,
Like
it's a beautiful country.
it is. It is
Beautiful.
absolutely amazing. Like anywhere, like where we are, I play ball hockey. I'm a ball hockey star. And hold on, did I just say that?
You did.
I'm one of the elite ball hockey players.
Yeah, look 'em up. You'll see.
on our street. And
Oh, on our street. Okay, there's
you
nobody
didn't
who
need
plays
to
ball
repeat.
hockey.
You didn't need to repeat that. Okay, so and some of the guys we play with, they do rock climbing, and so they go to different places where they've built rock climbing stuff indoors so they can practice it. So I mean, anything that you're looking for in Canada, or at least in Toronto, is just minutes away from you. So if you happen to be an elite euchre player, which I just happen to be, there are great euchre tournaments going on, and if you're an exceptional chess player, which I just happen to be, none of this is true. But anyways, you can, anything that you want is just there at your fingertips. If you happen to be in love with yellow Crocs, there's probably a yellow Croc club somewhere close to
Okay,
you.
you're getting out of control now.
I'm just saying, and that's one of the wonderful things about Canada, or at least about Toronto. And then if you really want to go see great mountains and stuff like that, you can go to Vancouver, and and you'll see them there, and you can climb them there. It's just so wonderful. Cultural influence, I'll agree, is pretty incredible. Entrepreneurship is kind of getting wiped out right now, so I'm surprised that we're number 5.
I think it might just be more the ability to.
The ability
Yes.
to do it,
Yes,
true,
that's
or,
what
or
I
the
believe that
spirit
is.
to do it. We have a great spirit. Heritage, well, that's interesting. So it depends what they mean by heritage, because a lot of our heritage is being wiped out. Christmas is kind of being wiped out.
That's a
things like
tradition.
that. Isn't that part of
Part of
our
our
heritage? Yeah. So movers, what the heck is that? So we have a lot of movers. Like, what are they talking
know.
about?
Maybe it's ability. Who knows?
And it
Movers.
doesn't explain none of these in the
movers
article.
and shakers, or are you talking about we have a lot of moving companies? I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
don't know either.
Open for business, like entrepreneurship and open for business. What are they talking about? Or are they talking about that you can go late night and go to certain things?
Don't know.
I don't know. Power. Well, I'm sorry, but in Canada, power? What do we have power over? Our
Nothing.
prime minister's
Nothing.
most famous thing is his socks.
No, his dance he did when he went to India, I think.
Oh,
was
his India
probably
dance as well.
The most famous
so
one.
I'm not sure what they mean by power.
Don't
And
knock
then-
him up for his socks. His socks are cute.
Yeah, I'll agree. They are cute. And then you got Switzerland. What power does Switzerland have? I don't know.
Switzerland is neutral. They're very.
But remember, it's not
Yeah.
who's
Yeah.
best at one
At
thing. It's
everything.
overall.
Exactly.
Right. Quality of life. Well, I will say, while that's diminishing greatly right now, it's going down a ski slope. It is pretty amazing, and if you don't think so, all you got to do, pack your
somewhere
bags and go travel. And then
Yeah.
you will see the difference between quality of life. It is getting really rough here. People admire the fact that we have free health care. Well, go to a hospital and see if you admire that, because you will be there for the whole day. To get your arms sewn back on. Social purpose,
Yeah, your
who
arm
knows
sewn
what the heck
back
that
on
means.
wouldn't probably be number one, so you would be waiting. But I just wanted to say I have YouTube up here watching it, and Ken said, "Hello, your team. Sorry for your loss." Ken, thank you so
thank
much.
you, Ken.
We have a few people watching YouTube right now. Sometimes
that's
it's
good.
fun to watch how I smack Randy in the back of the head, and you know.
That is assault. I just haven't charged.
You don't have any witnesses that will go with you.
We have people on YouTube, and we have
I did not
8,000
smack you on
people
camera
listening.
yet.
Okay.
As we have a few emails to go through. I think I got the Edwin one. Okay, so one from Donna. Subject line Trudeau. Randy is so right about Trudeau. What a robber of the people. But his horrendous policies don't affect him. That's a-hole. That's from Donna. Thank you for your comments,
Thanks, Donna.
From Kelly. Kelly says, Jackie, isn't there any food in your house? Randy, get up and make yourself something. Love your show. Trudeau is an ass, and I voted for him. He needs to go. All right, so we have the Trudeau.
There you
love
go,
here.
Randy.
Kelly, all I got to say about that is that there is food. I could get up and make myself food. But honestly, you want to talk about overprivileged? If I don't eat for 2 days, I will be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I mean, on
Me
the
too.
third day, I'll probably be wanting something to eat. But if I'm drinking lots of water,
Which
I'll be
you
fine,
do.
which I do. So I don't have that same urgency. I think there's a trigger when my wife is in the room or something like that.
To bug her.
It's sort of like a bonding thing. I want to give her purpose.
Bonding? Who the hell is bonding with that?
I'm
mister?
bonding with it. I'm bonding. I want to give her purpose and
Bonding with
meaning
yourself.
in life. You know, what would be her purpose or meaning if I don't do that? So so these are some of the reasons, Kelly. It's really not for me. It's for her
It's
to make
to
her
better
feel
me,
better.
yeah. So
And
that
the-
I feel like I'm a good wife?
Yeah, and I'm just a great guy
Because
like
that's
that.
what a wife does, right?
Yeah, I'm just
Really?
very considerate like
Oh, you're going to
Hey.
get some emails now.
that. And
There is many men that I see at the grocery store. They
Yep.
got the kids tagged along.
Yep.
They're picking up the groceries.
Yeah.
Some of them cook. They're
Yep.
bringing. So no.
That's true.
Now with two people working, equality at home is very important.
I think that what you're saying is true, and those men are ruining it for everyone else. You need to stop it. Get some help.
All right. From James. James says, hello, fellow Canadians. Obviously, the poll about best places to live was not taking into account our leader, that jerk-off Trudeau. So we have the Trudeau love coming in.
Yeah,
And
well, we always got that love, right?
And finally, from Jody. Jody says, Randy is right. These polls are not accurate. I work for a polling company in the States, and these polls are skewed. Polling companies work with media companies, and they always change numbers to fit any agenda out there they want to. Canada's a very nice country, but in all reality, it's not the best to live. So yeah, I guess with the
Who
polls,
was
that was from Jody. Like I'll agree with Jody. I don't know if they change numbers per se, but it's more how they deliver the numbers, right?
How they deliver
yeah.
them and which numbers they choose.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Because you may have numbers there that prove the opposite, so you just get rid of those and take the numbers that prove your point and
And that's
utilize
what I was
them.
going to say. And think about it. However many people that they talk to, that's personal opinion, right?
And where they talk to
Some
them.
people that they spoke to probably don't even know anything about some of the countries. So
But I think you're right. I think they would. Well, I'm assuming what they did is they went to different countries and asked them about their country,
Yeah.
right? So I don't think.
yeah, but still, it's a personal
Yeah,
opinion,
well, for
right?
sure, for sure.
And everybody feels different about everything. But I'm going to go into the next article because Randy was talking about, when I come into the bedroom, he gives me purpose by asking me to get him stuff. So here's something interesting. This lady in Australia is doing hot bedding, it's called.
All right.
Hot bedding, where she shares half of her bed with somebody on a weekly basis. I think it's more weekly and
What do you mean she
month.
shares?
This is what I'm going to tell you.
Shares
She's
a shower.
Hold
shares a
on.
bed. No.
She has this gorgeous room that's like a hotel room, beautiful big bathroom, and it's share bed for $160 a week or $640 a month. Remember, this is in Australia. You can sleep in half of her bed, but it's platonical. There's no, people need both. She says in the article that, and she's a very pretty woman, very pretty. And apparently when I, read the article, she does have a partner, which is okay with this, because at the end of the article, when I read it, that now her partner is going to do this. So now she's doubled her income. So now both of them are sharing their bed.
Wait, slow down. I need to back up a bit.
Yes.
So you're paying to sleep in the same bed with them.
But not, you have to know the rules.
You can't touch them.
No.
Are they at least getting a little bit of a show or something?
No. It's strictly companionship at that point when you're in the room. There's no sexual nothing, and you can't cry. Because she said in the article, okay, I'm not in her bedroom.
No, because she said
and
something.
I'm not flying to Australia to sleep on the side of her bed.
I will do the research. Don't worry. The question is that you got the shower. She said that her shower has 2 heads in it. So what does that mean?
I don't know. She's got a boyfriend, so and now the boyfriend is going to do it too.
Is she
so
sleeping in like what's it called? Like a sweatsuit, or is it like?
It doesn't say.
Snowmobile suit?
It doesn't say, but
Space
apparently she's making a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
She's actually it's actually providing for her life.
Do they get breakfast too, or is it just get up and get out?
No, you sharing the bed, the bedroom, and the bathroom.
So like alarm goes off at 8 o'clock. It's like okay, time's up, get the hell out, type of thing, or?
Well, some of them you can do like a weekly. Or whatever.
So for the week, they get this. They can stay in bed all for the whole week, or is it from like 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. and then during the day you got to go and come back?
Half of their bed, I guess they can do whatever they want with. They want to stay in it all day. That's up to them.
And what if they're like a roller? Like what happens then?
Well,
like,
this is the thing. Like there's a lot
Roller
of
and a
things.
humper.
There's a lot of things.
Roll and hump.
Why did you do that? That's wrong.
Did
you read the article?
It's $160 a week.
Yes.
And $640 a month.
Yes.
Jack? No.
Yes.
No. So she wouldn't be making much money. You can only have one person. So
160 a week or a night?
No.
No. I'm going to show you.
The thing is that it is very interesting. And
it's called hot bedding.
Hot bedding, yes. I saw.
And she did say it only works if both parties, respect the boundaries.
Here's the
of
thing:
that,
why
right?
Yes,
I'm not
of
that
course.
surprised. During COVID, there was a lady who was selling her farts. All right.
What?
You didn't hear? We talked about this. She would bottle her farts and sell them, and she ended up in the hospital because she was trying to get a good concoction, and she ate a whole bunch of crap and ended up in the hospital.
Oh wow.
No, hold on.
That's crazy.
People were actually.
Yeah, they were buying her farts, and then when that happened, when she couldn't do it anymore, she was selling them as an NFT. Her farts in a bottle as an NFT. We talked about it. It was a few years ago.
Come on.
I don't get it. How can it be an NFT? An NFT is
People are
electronic.
stupid. That's how. People are dumb.
Who wants to smell someone else's toot?
You would be surprised. People, especially now with the internet, you can find anyone who has any fetish, you can find someone else who has the same fetish. So
Here it is.
Sounds pretty
Listen to this.
disgusting.
Welcoming strangers into her bed every night has become a profitable practice for one sexy singleton who tucks in an extra $600 a month by renting out the unoccupied side of her mattress. So she's only bringing
that
in.
seems pretty dumb for $600 a month.
Yeah,
You gotta. She needs a.
She's very social.
Yeah,
She's very social. It's a way of.
I don't know. Now, like when I read the article, I think it's possibly, and I don't want. My opinion
She's
that
trolling you.
there's probably extra things for
I
extra
think so.
money. I don't know, because
I
it's
think
a
so.
weird thing.
Because I saw some kind of video and she talked about the dual shower head. There's obviously some connotations there, and that, quite frankly, is the only reason I'm going to go and check it out. Like,
For research purposes.
for research purposes. Yeah, I'm going to be extremely platonic, and that's fine. But I need to see what's going on there, just in case something wrong is happening. I want to report it.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, the $648 a month seems ridiculous. Unless it's like she does it like once a week type of thing. But anywho.
Yeah. That's not much money. What the hell are you going to do with $600?
Yeah, and
That
for me,
wouldn't
it's
even be gas
$50
for the
a night.
month.
$50 a night.
No, it's actually averages out to 20.
20 what?
$20 every night. And the guy,
Yeah.
and the quote, he says
so
you can't
she-
even buy lunch for that. So it must be something she enjoys doing because she's not
doesn't
making
average out
that
to
much money.
$20.
No, you 20 times 3,600.
Oh, right. Oh. But that's if it's every night.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be every night.
I'm just saying that
She's got a boyfriend.
She's got
She wouldn't
to
have
like
a boyfriend if it was every night.
She's there's got to be something about it because it's really odd.
It's a bit twisted,
Yeah.
I will admit, but
Anywho, before we get into the numbers here, we have a few more emails. One from Francis. Francis says, Randy, it is not free healthcare. It is all paid for by taxes and lots of taxes.
True.
The government gets their money from upfront, that's all. Juki, cute socks do not make a nation. F. Trudeau.
Trust me. Who was that?
That was
Francis. Trust me. We know that we're paying it in taxes.
What about the socks?
he's got nice socks.
We're paying for his
Okay.
socks too. I
He's got
like
nice
colorful socks. You have colorful socks.
Yes,
Another.
I too want to be
I
like
think it
Justin
shows some
Trudeau.
character in that person.
I ain't paying $50 for socks. Anyways, from Rhyme, Randy is so funny, hilarious. Jackie needs a boy toy for her enjoyment.
I agree. And but he has to be a handyman too. Like he can't just be a boy toy.
Jackie is not looking for a boy toy. Thank you.
And
She
finally,
already has one. Actually, she has two.
Where's the two? Yeah. I remember when we first started dating. Now that you did that, it was so funny because he was like, what were you like 5'11"? Not quite 6. I'm not giving you 6 feet because that's what you do to me. Anyways, he was 5'11", 195 pounds of muscle. Like I tell the kids, like I would touch his arm down. What part of the arm we call this? His lower arm, and he had a bigger muscle there than most men had, like a bicep. It was ridiculous. So yeah, he used to flex them up and make them like. And he thought that was
anywho, finally from Tina. Tina says bed rental. If I rent that bed, what happens if I fart a lot? That is another good question.
Oh, that would be interesting. Hey, you get in there and just flash it. Like,
Yeah. No one would want to sleep with me then. No.
Okay, shall we do some numbers?
All right, some numbers. So our market watch has come out again for this for
last month.
Last month, yes. So some interesting things. I'll just go over quickly, I guess, the highlights, and we'll kind of dig deeper into them. Randy and myself, and maybe Jackie as well. But year over year, sales are down 5.2%. Right, so it's a few hundred off of last year. New listings are up 16.2%. We have our average price is pretty much stabilized or stayed stable year over year, 0.3%. And our listing days on market are down 17.6. So now to get a bit deeper into that, in terms of, I think we had a buyer or a listener ask me earlier about what's happening with the market. Is it a buyer's market, a seller's market? There's a little bit of both. It's trending a little bit towards, some numbers are trending towards buyer, some are trending towards seller. Our sales are down, our sales overall are down 5.2%. So we had, and I remember last year, around this time, we had the huge, I think it was February, and it was going crazy in February. Everyone was like over the moon if you were a seller. And then as our interest rates started going up, the market came down basically month over month. I think all the way from February, I think, to right through to the end of the year. Was it the June or was this June? Okay. So year over year, again, our sales down 5.2%. The average price of 0.3%. So this time last year, the price had already dropped a lot. So the fact that we're only up 0.3% is, again, for buyers, it's a good thing because, again, prices were low last year and they haven't really changed much year over year. The new listings, right? So new listings, last year, there was nothing on the market. It was basically, if you put your house on the market, well, even still, it was even though the prices were coming down, it was still hard to find a place to buy because there wasn't much on the market. We are getting new listings on the market. They're 16.2% more. So there is more choice for buyers. So if you are looking, you do have more options to look through. And while we are, I guess, there are still some multiple offers, it's not as crazy as it was last year or even really the year before, where it was just, to be blunt, stupid. Our active listings are up 16.5%, right? So that means more people are actually trying to get rid of the market. And we've been talking over the last few weeks about the mortgage, what we think is a kind of a crisis where a lot of owners aren't able to even pay the principal. They're paying pretty much not even pay the interest. So every month their mortgage is actually getting higher and higher because of a lot of people before had the variable rates where it was great. It was like you're paying 1.1%, 1.5%. It was crazy low, and then our friend Tiffy started to put those interest rates out, and we're up to now to around 5%. So your variable rate was very nice before, not so nice right now, which means your payment has gone through the roof for what, again, you budget a certain amount. You're not thinking that I'm paying this much now, and then a year later I'm going to be paying maybe $1,000, $2,000 more, right? So especially with our jobs, we're not making any more money. Generally, again, maybe you got your little 1% raise, maybe if you're lucky. So it's you're pulling a certain amount, you had a certain amount budgeted, and you just can't afford it. And then our inventory, basically how long is your house on market? If you go to sell your house, how long does it take you to actually, so basically we have what's called our month of inventory, which just means if we were to stop putting new houses on the market, how long would it take for all those houses to sell out? So right now we're at 2.2, right, which is more of a seller's market. We need to get to around 3 months to get to a buyer's market. So 2.2, it is trending towards that buyer's market, but we're still more in the seller's category. So yeah, and I guess I'll let you go on a bit more about some of the numbers. The only other number I want to talk about is the selling price to listing price. Right now we're at 100%, which is again more of a seller's kind of number. That one I would kind of take with a grain of salt, because with those numbers, it's kind of on the seller and the listing agent in terms of what they actually put on the market at, where if you don't know what you're doing, maybe you're putting a number too low or too high, where if the numbers can be a bit fudged there depending on the market savvy of the lister and the actual agent, right? So I would take that one with a grain of salt, but we're still at 100%, which means if you put the house on the market at $1 million, it's selling pretty much at that $1 million. So you're getting what you expected or what you're looking for, assuming that you put the house on the market at what you actually want and you weren't trying to lowball to get some activity. Yeah, so I don't know if you want to add on to those at all.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing, Anthony.
Yeah, the only thing I would add with what you just said about the numbers being skewed, because there was a lot of pricing low to get multiple offers, right?
Well, I think that was more a couple years back with when the numbers kind of just flew up. You would see, we sold it in 2 days at $200,000 over. Yeah. But it was really a house that was maybe valued at $1 million, listed at 800, 850.
And was it relisted? Because if you relist a home, now you're starting over from zero again. So if you go back sometimes and do the history on that property, they already tried to sell it at a different price for 30 days. And now they've taken it off, done a new listing, right? So sometimes you got to do your history search with the property and kind of figure out where that, because I go on and some places have been listed 5 times. And some of them, different agents, different prices, so they're trying, right? So that kind of also gives you motivation of the seller as well. If your agent kind of digs into the listing a little more, it can sometimes give you some insight on how to go about doing an offer, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's a very, very interesting market. It's interesting from a geek's perspective, a realtor's perspective, who is following the market, who possibly understands how the market used to trend and what's going on. Do you want to do that email first before I go on?
I don't think he's doing that email.
Have we seen it? Well, are we doing it or no?
Read the
thing is, yes, Jackie, she enjoys...
Talking about the lady in the...
Okay, maybe we'll skip that one.
Yeah. You can go let your imagination read that one. Yes, she enjoys the hot bedding, so yeah. You better erase that. Your wife sees that on your phone, you're in trouble. Well, you in big trouble.
It wasn't sent to him, it was sent to On Air.
Well, you're in trouble.
By the way, how do people watch on YouTube?
Good question. So, 2 things. If you want to send us an email, if you have any questions about just any real estate questions, on air at yourteam.pro. And to find us online, go to YouTube and to search for at Your Team Pros. You can find us live. You can find our replays there as well if you want to see what we did last week or the week before that.
And have we posted any of the other information videos on YouTube?
What's other
The ones
information? There's tons
like
of
about
videos,
buying
like
a
400
home.
videos.
Yeah,
there.
so that's what I wanted to say. And there's other information provided videos. I don't know what to call them. Sorry, guys.
Other content.
Okay.
Yes.
So the market is very interesting, as Anthony has pointed out. There's a lot of crosswinds there. We have, one indicator, sales to new listing ratio, that is saying it's a balanced market, tipped in favor of the sellers slightly. And then the other months of inventory is showing that no, it's purely a seller's market with 2.2 months of inventory. And what we're really kind of seeing is that the marketplace is very mixed. You're going to get some homes that are unique, that are in excellent condition, that show very, very well, or that are in a hot location, a location that many people desire. And those properties are moving fast, moving furious, and doing very well. And then you're going to get a bunch of other properties where we have traditional sellers that don't necessarily believe that it's worth making their property hot, because they remember in 1980 when they sold their home, they sold it as is, and then they bought another one with green shag carpet that they had to replace, and that was great, and that's how it worked back then, and they don't believe in any of this stuff. Well, those properties sit on the market for a long time.
Depending on the location.
But I said that already.
You did?
Okay, yeah,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, sorry, I was reading the
sure?
other message that came in on
Okay,
YouTube.
go ahead, since you interrupted already. Go ahead.
Interrupting cow, I am. So we got a message from Rick on YouTube, and he says, at the Scotiabank Financial Summit last week, the RBC CEO, David McKay, said interest rates are likely to come down next year, allowing for the lenders' customers to avoid major pain. When the majority of its mortgage book repriced in 2025 and 2026.
Yeah, definitely. That's one philosophy. I know the banks are hoping that this is what's going to happen. Bank economists are sort of saying that it wouldn't make sense for the Bank of Canada to continue the assault on people. However, the Bank of Canada just made their announcement and actually said that they believe that they may have to force rates up a bit more to tighten the market a bit more, because if you look at what happened, we were at 2.8% for inflation in June, and it went up to 3.3%, and they're looking to bring it at 2%. So they seem to believe that they're going to have to continue this assault on the interest rates.
So, I was going to say the same thing, but basically, same thing you said, but just to add on, so with our 2% target, we haven't been at that target for 27 months, right? So over 2 years. So yeah, and as you said, Tiff did suggest that we might have to increase our market.
How long
exactly.
How long is Tiff going to be there?
Well, this is it. He's going to be there as long as Justin Trudeau was there. You got to remember that he 100% supported Justin Trudeau through COVID. COVID was the richest time in Canadian history.
Yeah, it was a lot of money going.
Even though we weren't allowed out of our houses, a lot of people weren't allowed to work. You kids couldn't go to school. You couldn't go to shops. It was the richest time in history. Why? Because the monetary policy, which the Bank of Canada carries out, and the fiscal policy, which the federal government carries out, married each other. They are not supposed to be in cahoots together, but they were. And the Bank of Canada was buying all of the Canadian debt that Justin Trudeau and his, his cabinet could muster up, so they could freely spend as much as they wanted. And Tiff Macklin would repackage it and make it a bond, and then he would buy it back himself. Even though he can't do that, it's illegal. What he would do is put out a bulletin to the banks that we will buy this much debt. And so you buy it and we'll buy it back from you at a profit. All you got to do is list it on this board and we'll buy the ones we think are the best price. In other words, they're buying their own bonds, and they call it quantitative easing, a process that is actually considered illegal. The reason why it's illegal is because you can't create an instrument out of thin air. You're creating this money and then you're buying it all back. You're selling it to someone and buying it all back. And guess what? If us Canadians knew that this was going on, then we would all buy that debt so Bank of Canada could buy it back so we could make money. But we're not on their list of preferred lenders that are allowed to do this. So we can't make that money. Only the banks can. But guess where this money comes from? It comes from what they call settlement balances. And so basically they're pretending that this isn't money, or it's a special Bank of Canada money. And so it's not available to us. It's only available to the Bank of Canada and the banks. So then they do all this transformation. So basically, in a nutshell, they do this to the tune of, and I heard it's on the Bank of Canada's website, so you can go there. I don't have a computer in front of me, but I swear one day I'll put all this stuff together and do a little collab for you guys. But they're saying it was actually in the tune of over $4 billion. Now, I know about the $3.4 billion in money that made it into the our economy, but I hadn't known about the over $4 billion that made it into the banks. That was something that we found out through the Bank of Canada last week. And so when they created all of this, call it what you want, money, whatever you want to call it, when they created all of this stuff, they believe that it had no effect. You talk to economists, it had no effects on any Canadians. But meanwhile, inflation went crazy. The cost of our living actually cut in like a third. I don't believe there's one Canadian out there other than the Economist and the Tiff Macklin and maybe some of the banks honestly believe that inflation only went to 8%. Every one of us feel 20, 30, 40, 50% in terms of, depends on what industry you're in, costs going up. That's what we felt. And so my belief is what we actually felt is we felt the 8% inflation, but we felt like a 20% or 30% deflation of the money. And so, and that's where all of our pressures are coming from. So what's happening now, which is really miraculous, Tiff Macklin did not raise the interest rates on Wednesday, because that was his announcement time, and which you consider was a good thing. But there were 3 premiers in Canada that wrote him a letter stating this, which is absolutely phenomenal, because it was something that many people, certainly the mainstream media, or none of them will ever talk about, was that the problem with housing, the problem with inflation, the problem with deflation was caused by the Bank of Canada and their policies, and they need to stop it. Because they don't want their people going through this kind of pain anymore. So we saw Doug Ford was one of them that wrote this scathing letter. So then what happened after that? The media came, and the media started talking about instead of saying, yeah, this is true, it's absolutely insane that they went and squandered all of this money. They went and said, should the premiers be going after the Bank of Canada and saying the things that they're saying? And they were having this kind of a debate. Absolutely insane that our media does not actually serve us. And it's actually
Well, no, it's all
scary.
about ratings. Everything when you come
Jack,
to media.
They are funded. This is just something, and Gary's the one that can chime in on this.
I get
but
what
they
you're
are
saying.
funded by the government. And so because they're funded by the federal government, they choose to be very, very cautious of what they say so they don't lose their funding, because they'll lose their livelihood. And so you guys got to remember one thing. The Bank of Canada right now is pretty much bankrupt. The only thing holding up the Bank of Canada right now is our tax dollars. That is it. The Bank of Canada used to be a prosperous business that made money ever since its conception. And last year, in the third quarter, it was the very first time they started to lose money. They lost $522 million. And then, and it made it all over the news. Guess what? The next month where they lost over $1 billion, no news recorded anything. And then the next month where they lost almost like $1.5 billion, no news recorded anything. And then we're going to have now the halfway point, and they're going to lose another billion and change. No news will say anything. But that's the first time in history they've ever lost money. So we know in 3 quarters, the third quarter, the fourth quarter, and the first quarter of this year, the Bank of Canada has lost $3 billion. And we don't hear not one peep of sound from the mainstream media, which is really interesting. But how does this affect our real estate market? It makes it totally unaffordable, because they're raising the rates, bankrupting themselves and the Canadians as well. You want to say something?
Well, I was to say, like, it's only really news the first time. Like, what's happened second, third, fourth, fifth times? That's how it is now. That's why I report about it.
Okay, fair enough. I can live with
Logic.
that. I can live with that, but I just think it's wrong. I think personally that we need to bring light on this. Our lives are very, very difficult right now. As a Canadian, I mean, they came out with this report, but 2023 has not completed. So we'll see how Canada is in 2024. I bet you it takes a big jump. But here it doesn't talk about affordability in their thing here. It talks about a whole bunch of social stuff.
Oh.
So the next thing they're going to put in there is
If they put
different-
affordability, I don't know where we'd end up.
I know if they have on there the
'Cause I
total
think
number of genders, we're going to fall
they're-
in, and we'll be number 1 or 2 in the world,
Okay,
United States and Canada.
No.
So that'll be
No.
the thing, not affordability.
Excuse me, where are you going right now?
I'm just saying, that's what Canada's rating themselves on,
He's trying to get
not
us canceled.
affordability. I'm trying to get canceled.
yeah.
By the way, they cut off our Facebook for a short period of time for some
Probably
reason.
because they listen to you talking.
Jack, I'm sorry, but I don't know why.
Anyways,
this
the
is
whole
the more important part of life
what's
than
more
the crap
important
that they're dealing with.
What's more important is not what you just said. Thank you very much for that ignorant statement. But more important is how many Canadians are living below the poverty line.
Right.
That's what's important, okay? Not
Well,
all
they've
that.
shifted I won't say what it's all about, but one of the things for all of you climate change lovers out there that believe that, you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, this whole climate change thing, it's a money grab, okay? That's what it is. That's their best way of taxing us. So what they do is they just say, oh, we're going to save the planet. Because if you look and you see the planet's changing its temperature at record speeds. At record speeds, what about when the planet was frozen? Like, you know, if we were there then, what would be our taxes? 150% to change it because we're destroying it? With dinosaur farts?
But how much was documented those years, like when nobody was documenting crap, to be able to judge it based off what was happening?
They checked it.
Anywho, we had one email from Donna from back in, I think we were talking about the Bank of Canada. She says, oh my God, Randy's so right about that. So let's pump your tires up a little bit, Randy. There you go.
Well, I think we're almost out of time. And so going through, real estate marketing right now has been softening throughout the summer months. And that is not abnormal. It's the rate, just like climate change. It's not abnormal for it to change. It was the rate at which it's changing at that makes it the fact that we have to spend so much money to reverse it. And I know that Joe Biden had made a claim that he is going to fix the climate. Okay,
He
all
needs
you
to fix
suckers out
himself. He needs to fix himself first. He
he's
looks
go-
like half the time when he's walking, he's going to fall down.
I
Sorry.
feel bad for that, but the thing is that the truth of the matter is that I don't care how much money they suck out of our bank accounts, they're not going to fix anything. Don't forget, they're flying around on private jets, but they want to fix us. They want us to be fixed. And so we got to give our money to them so they can fly around on the private jets to save the climate. If that doesn't sink in with you guys, I don't know what does. Here's the thing, on the ground, what they're doing with their policies, taking all of this money, making themselves rich, and why I say making themselves rich is because of all of this money that they brought in during COVID, none of us are feeling that money. What we're feeling right now is a lot of pain. House prices are out of control, interest rates
Groceries,
are out of control,
gas.
grocery prices, gas, and climate
What is the
tax.
gas right now? It's heading close to like $2.
It's come down a bit.
It was
It's
two. It
160.
was $2
In
in
Vancouver.
Vancouver last 2
Week,
weeks ago
yeah.
or last week. Insane.
Like
a
who?
buck
Like
90 something.
Like what? Now we're going to have to park our cars and not pay insurance and take the subway.
But they're
Like,
going to save the planet with this one. That's what you guys got to keep your eye on. Something like
Correct.
what I do late at night, being X-Man, going and doing intergalactic
my.
fighting. I also save the planet, so I think you guys should be sending me money. Now, do we have?
What the
do we have
heck?
it? If you can do email transfer to onair@yourteam.pro, please.
For X-Men.
And we really do not want any donations under $1 million because we got to save the planet here, and we can't do it for pennies. I think
We're
we're out
out.
of time.
All right,
so
ladies and gents, thanks for joining us again.
edit that out.
edit a lot out,
If
actually.
you have any questions during the week, send it to onair@yourteam.pro.
It just got.
Love having you guys here. Make sure you tell your friends. Come back next week. Catch us on YouTube at Your Team Pros. And as always, it's been your home, your money, and our lives on realityradio101.com. Have a
Bye
great
for
weekend.
now.
Bye for now.
Oh, jeez.
Thank you for listening to Your Home, Your Money with your hosts, Randy, Jackie, and Anthony, right here on Reality Radio 101.